Let's talk about a seismic shift in power, a transformation that's reshaping the world as we know it. For decades, the world was run by older generations in closed rooms, making decisions behind heavy doors, far from the voices of the streets. Now, Gen Z is rewriting the rules, stepping out from the sidelines and into the spotlight with a bold new energy. They're not just posting online, they're toppling governments, from Sri Lanka to Senegal, showing that real change can start with a single post and grow into a movement. This isn't your parents' protest, it's faster, decentralized, and digital, powered by smartphones and social media, moving at the speed of the internet. Gen Z grew up with the internet. For them, organizing a protest is as easy as sending a text or starting a group chat. Mobilizing thousands can happen in minutes. Their activism is global, their voice collective, and their demands urgent. They're united by shared causes, not just geography. TikTok streams become protest broadcasts, memes become rallying cries. The language of the internet is now the language of resistance. They don't need a single leader, just a network, a message, and the courage to hit post. Their strength is in their connection and their speed. Across continents, they're demanding solutions, not excuses. They're holding leaders accountable in ways never seen before. They're using everyday tech as tools for change, showing you don't need to be a politician to change politics. Anyone with a phone can spark a movement. In Sri Lanka, Senegal, Bangladesh, and beyond, they're proving the status quo is not untouchable. No system is too big to challenge. Gen Z is young, connected, and determined to build a new future, one that's more just, more inclusive, and more responsive to their needs. This is a story you can't afford to ignore. The next chapter of change is being written right now, and it's being led by the world's youth. So, what's different about today's youth movements? Scale. The sheer number of young people coming together is unlike anything the world has seen before. Their collective presence is rewriting the rules of activism and social change. Asia and Africa are experiencing the largest youth bulge in history, with millions of young people shaping the future of their societies every day. In Africa, 60% of the population is under 25, about 750 million people. That's an entire continent powered by youth, full of energy and potential. South and Southeast Asia have similar numbers, with hundreds of millions of young people ready to make their mark. Together, Gen Z in these regions is 1.5 billion strong. That's more than the population of Europe and North America combined. That's not a generation, it's a tidal wave. Their influence is impossible to ignore, and their voices are only getting louder. A huge youth population can drive growth, but if left frustrated, it becomes a force for instability. The stakes are higher than ever. When millions of educated, ambitious young people face unemployment and corruption, it's a national crisis. Their hopes and dreams hang in the balance. Their numbers mean their problems are everyone's problems. No society can move forward while its youth are left behind. Governments can't ignore half their population, especially when they're digitally connected and ready to act. Social media gives them a megaphone the world can't turn off. The youth bulge has turned Gen Z into a political force. Their unity and determination are reshaping the political landscape. Their collective frustration can erupt into protests that can't be silenced. When they mobilize, the world has to listen. This isn't just a moment, it's demographic destiny. The future will be shaped by the choices and actions of this generation. Gen Z is too big to fail and too numerous to ignore. Their numbers are their superpower, and the world is only beginning to see what they can do. Sri Lanka, 2022. The economy collapsed, shortages everywhere, and a government out of touch. Everyday life ground to a halt as families waited hours for fuel, food, and medicine. Frustration simmered in the sweltering heat, and hope seemed to fade. But Gen Z transformed that frustration into a leaderless revolution, starting online with Chanse Go Home Gota. Social media became their rallying cry, uniting thousands who felt powerless alone but unstoppable together. There was no single leader, just a decentralized network using Instagram, TikTok, and WhatsApp to organize, share updates, and mobilize crowds in real time. Every post, every message, every hashtag helped build momentum. They crowdsourced a revolution, making it resilient and impossible to shut down. The movement grew stronger with every live stream, every viral video, and every new supporter joining in. Gota Gama, a protest village, became the movement's heart, run by volunteers, filled with art, music, and live streams. It was a place where strangers became friends, united by a vision for change. They showed what a better Sri Lanka could look like, building solidarity and hope. The protesters painted murals, sang songs, and created a sense of community that inspired the nation. In July, hundreds of thousands peacefully stormed the presidential palace. Their unity and determination sent shockwaves across the world. The world watched as ordinary people took back power, swimming in the president's pool, lounging on his bed, and sharing every moment online for all to see. President Rajapaksa fled and resigned, unable to withstand the pressure of a united, digital generation demanding accountability. Gen Z, armed with hashtags and smartphones, toppled a political dynasty that had ruled for decades. They proved that in the 21st century, power can come from a smartphone screen. Digital activism became a force that governments could no longer ignore. The revolution was creative, peaceful, and effective, powered by hope, art, and the relentless energy of youth. Sri Lanka became a blueprint for digital age activism, showing the world how a new generation can rewrite history with nothing but courage, creativity, and a smartphone. Senegal, 2024. The fight wasn't about food, but about saving democracy. President Macky Sall hinted at breaking term limits. His rival was arrested. For Senegal's youth, this was a red line. They organized online, using social media and encrypted apps to coordinate protests. The government tried to shut down the internet and block platforms. Gen Z fought back with VPNs, staying connected and outsmarting censorship. The digital cat-and-mouse game only made them more determined. Protests grew, pressure mounted, and the government couldn't suppress the movement. Sall finally announced he wouldn't seek a third term. New elections followed, and the opposition won. Senegal's youth had defended democracy with tech-fueled resistance. Their victory sent a message across Africa. Democracy isn't negotiable. Gen Z proved they could force the hand of power. Sri Lanka and Senegal sparked a domino effect. In 2024-2025, youth-led movements in Bangladesh, Nepal, and Madagascar toppled governments. Each country had unique problems, but the story was the same: young people rising against failed systems. In Bangladesh, frustration over corruption and vanishing jobs fueled massive protests. Nepal's youth, facing unemployment and crushing debt, demanded economic justice. Madagascar's young people, angered by corruption and poverty, organized for accountability. Inspired by global movements, they used digital tools to mobilize. Relentless pressure led to government collapses, not by coups, but by youth with smartphones. In just a few years, 5 governments fell to the power of young citizens. The world was witnessing a new era of people-powered change. How is Gen Z doing it? Their toolkit is digital. Smartphones and social media, TikTok, Instagram, X, are their central nervous system. Information spreads instantly. A meme, a video, a protest location can go viral in minutes. Humor, creativity, and emotion make activism accessible and engaging. Memes simplify complex issues and undermine authority with a laugh. Live streaming protests bypasses state media, creates transparency, and draws global attention. The world watches in real time, making crackdowns riskier for governments. Encrypted apps like Signal and Telegram keep organizing safe. When censorship hits, VPNs keep the movement alive. Gen Z adapts quickly, staying ahead of authorities. Their blend of public creativity and private security makes their movements hard to stop. Gen Z activism isn't limited to regime change. In Iran 2022, Mahsa Amini's death sparked a youth-led uprising. Schoolgirls and students defied the regime, using social media to broadcast their fight for freedom. The movement shook the government, exposing the generational divide. In Nigeria, the Nasser End SARS movement mobilized millions online against police brutality, using Twitter to organize, fundraise, and demand change. In Thailand, students challenged the monarchy, using creative protest symbols and flash mobs organized through social media. These movements didn't topple governments, but they broke silences and put regimes on the defensive. Gen Z's digital activism is reshaping politics, even in the toughest environments. They're demanding rights, exposing injustice, and inspiring others. The world is watching and learning. The power of youth movements is undeniable. The fight isn't easy. Gen Z faces massive challenges. Economic reality is harsh. Many nations are drowning in debt. spending more on interest than on education or healthcare. Jobs are scarce, and globalization's benefits are fading. Young people did everything right, studied, worked hard, only to find no opportunities. This fuels anger and protest. Politically, governments fight back with internet shutdowns, surveillance, and force. Activists face arrest, intimidation, and violence. Organizing is dangerous, but Gen Z's creativity keeps them moving. Disinformation is another threat. Governments spread fake news to divide movements. Only 18% of Gen Z can reliably spot fake news, making them vulnerable. The battle is on the streets and online. A fight for truth and critical thinking. Gen Z must navigate economic despair, repression, and digital chaos. Their resilience is being tested every day. What's next for this global youth movement? It's not a trend, it's the new reality. The drivers, youth bulge, inequality, corruption, climate crisis, are only intensifying. Successes in Sri Lanka and Senegal have created a playbook for change. Young people everywhere are watching, learning, and gaining courage. Countries with large, frustrated youth populations and corrupt governments could be next. Inspiration is contagious, hope spreads fast. Decentralized digital movements will keep erupting, often without warning. Governments are adapting too, using censorship, surveillance, and disinformation to fight back. Some may try softer tactics, offering small reforms to pacify youth. The future will be a tug-of-war between youth demands and state control. Gen Z's power is in their mindset. They're digital natives, globally connected, and unafraid to challenge old systems. The old guard is still in charge, but the ground is shaking. Gen Z isn't asking for permission, they're building the future now.